And we are live. Hello, everyone. This is Patrick Lee with Midweek Motivation Live. I'm sitting here today with my good friend, Cody Blair, owner at Fire Slice Pizza. We're going to be talking about masterminds today. What are they? Are they for you? Cody and I both get involved in different kind of mastermind groups and the quest for knowledge and bettering ourselves in the personal development space. And we're going to dig into that when we come back right after this. Y'all stay tuned. And we're back. It's good to see everyone. Hey, Sal, people already tuning in, to Midweek Motivation Live, and coming to you from Studio 3 today. This is a new location. Some of you that know me know I have multiple channels on social media, and I have a community spotlight channel. And the very first interview I ever did in the Amarillo area community spotlight was Cody Blair, my good friend, when he and his wife Gina bought Fire Slice Pizza. And that's actually where we're at today. It's become my hangout away from the office every week. I'm down here at Cody's, and you hear me reference Fire Slice and my friend Cody frequently during the show. And that's we have both been involved in something that's the topic of the show today. So we decided to come down here and do a remote and do the show live with my friend Cody. Everyone say hi. Say hi to Cody. Cody, say hi to the audience.
Hey, everyone. Cheers, hey, Mr. Patrick
cheers.
Lee.
Cheers.
I'm a frequent watcher. I watch every Wednesday. I'm usually setting up the place while I'm watching. So I usually have my staff hearing what's going on. And so they kind of know what's going on with the show and get to see you every Wednesday. So they were really excited that we were going to be doing it here.
Heck yeah, this is awesome. So we're in the restaurant. They're getting ready to open up here in about an hour and a half. So they're in the background. Cody watches the show just about every week, and he'll comment, smart aleck comments, and good comments. I love them. That's what good friends do. Always keeps me on my toes during the show. And after the show, nearly every week, this is the place we take care of a little business between the show. My daughter, Erica, is my marketing genius, and she gets the show uploaded to Buzzsprout. It goes out to all major podcast platforms. And I try to say that every week. But anywhere you want to find some good motivation in the middle of the week on any podcast platform, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, iTunes, wherever you go to listen to your podcast, click on Midweek Motivation Live with Patrick Lee. And if you catch me later on in the day on YouTube, please click on, go to the Midweek Motivation Live channel. That is my YouTube channel. Click on the subscribe button and the bell, and you'll get notifications. And then at the end of the show, in the comments below this video, you will find the link to my digital business card, www.patricklee.work. And you can schedule an appointment with me, get in my calendar if you want to talk. Watch more episodes of the show, find out who I am, what I'm about, different ways to get a hold of me, all of my social media platforms as well. And social media, self-improvement, the self-development, personal development space that they're in. These are all things that Cody and his wife, Gina, are very, very involved in as well. And Gina actually does marketing for a living as well, and is very good at marketing both your businesses and the companies she's been involved with over the past few years. So you guys are really big into personal development, masterminding, collaborating with people. We always believe that you shouldn't be the smartest person in the room, right? Yeah. You need to find people that are a little smarter than you to hang out with and learn from. So I have gotten into, since I've been in real estate 10 years now, I travel frequently, multiple times a year, to do different events, to go learn from people that are smarter than me, put myself in rooms full of people that are smarter than I am, because I need to grow myself. And that's something that you also subscribe to.
Yeah. So I started, I was invited to this group about 3 years ago, a local guy, a good friend of mine, Jody Hollins, started a group with his best friend, Mike Grimsby. And how this group started in the first place is they spent $10,000 a piece to go see Tony Robbins at one of his big events.
The best of the best,
and,
right?
They felt like really the platform of it was not great. They didn't feel that there was a lot of value in seeing him on stage. What they really got value in was like the breakout sessions. They were talking to other people that were there, that were like-minded and entrepreneurs and wanting to grow and things like that. And so they felt, we're getting more out of this, out of us just doing one-on-ones with each other versus what we're doing, going, I didn't come here to dance. I didn't come here to yell and all, I didn't come here for that. And that was how they felt. And so they started this group, I think 10 years ago, something right at it. And it started off as like a guy's trip, and they'd go play golf, and they do all these things. Well, they learned that they started to not always have like-minded people with the group, and so they got a little pickier on who they brought in.
Very selective,
very selective. And so now we've got a group that pretty much everyone, we're there to grow, help each other, be of value to each other, be a support system for each other.
Absolutely.
A network. So it's really neat. We go to a different city each year. We rent an Airbnb, and we literally are together the entire time. We eat breakfast together, we eat lunch together, we eat dinner together, and in between times, what we all have to bring to the table is a 30-minute speech on something we feel that we're an expert at.
Right.
And the first couple of years, I didn't get to choose my own. I was voluntold.
What you're going to talk about.
Yeah, Jody had a special interest in what he wanted me to do.
Sure.
But what was really cool this past year is he came up with a new format that we could watch 3 movies, 3 inspirational movies, and out of one of the 3 movies, we could write a speech on what one particular thing inspired us by.
Sure, pick a theme out of one of those.
Yeah, and all 3 movies were 3 of my favorites. It was really cool. It was Dead Poet Society, which I absolutely love. It was Good Will Hunting, which,
great movie.
Again, I absolutely love.
Yeah.
And the third was Remember the Titans.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Remember the Titans was really cool because, I played football and did sports and things like that. So it was a really neat experience to watch that again. What was really cool out of the movies, though, is that I'd watched them so long ago that I was young, like I was a kid, so all the kids in the movie, the teenagers, I related to that. And now watching it again, it was really neat because now I'm a leader, and I've been a leader of my home. I've been the leader of my business.
Right.
I'm coaching.
You're watching it with a new set of eyes now. Absolutely.
It was really inspiring to watch it with a new set of eyes and understand the leader side of it.
Yeah.
So, the other characters, leadership characters, meant a lot more to me than it did before. So it was really cool. So I actually wrote a speech on all 3 movies. I found that all 3 movies had a common thread. I felt like all 3 movies, carpool diem is a big thing in Dead Poet Society. But I felt like every movie, each movie had that part of seize the day.
Seize the day.
If you've got today, you don't know that tomorrow's here. So you've got today. And then you saw prejudice and courage in each movie. Of course, we Remember the Titans. We see it a lot more,
sure.
But there's lack of free thinking in all 3 movies. I feel like that's a problem with society today. The government's telling us what we need to
Absolutely.
think. Social media is telling us what we need to think. The media in general tells us what we need to think, and we're not having those personal thinking experiences.
Absolutely. You're right.
It's like in each movie, even the kids, parents, their parents are in Dead Poet Society.
They're basically programming our younger generation to fit into a cookie cutter mold of how they feel society needs to go forward. But the people that founded this nation were not people that were raised that way. They were go right ahead. We've got business going on all around us, and that's okay. So we have a group of people, the people that founded this nation, they came together and they basically masterminded this nation, how this country would be formed. And they revolted against the the previous rule and reign. And I just recently went to another mastermind event locally put on by Chicago Title. You hear me reference them a lot. Cheryl Malcolm, Lisa Mayfield, a lot of my friends over at Chicago Title. And that was a business planning clinic put on by Tom Ferry, one of the leading real estate coaches in the world, certainly in America. Everyone that knows real estate knows Tom Ferry Coaching, and went to this mastermind as well. And there's a theme that ran through that in today's society, the way that we are taught to think and do business and relate to other people, how in today's rate of inflation, a slowed down real estate market, and high rates of inflation and higher interest rates, how are we going to motivate ourselves to do better, to dig deep when we have to dig deep, to come up with ways to make it through the way that industry has taught us, society and government has taught us that we need to move, act, and think. So that challenged me by going to that mastermind and listening to Tom Ferry. And then we also had Dr. Ann Macy, one of the chief economists at West Texas A&M University, a brilliant-minded economist, talking about the economy and motivation and how to develop yourself personally, to dig deeper, to do more things. And that mastermind, and when we talk about masterminds, that's kind of the theme of the show, is masterminding. Is it for you? What does it do? It really comes down to this. We need to put ourselves in a room full of people that are free thinkers, that have achieved some level of success in what they've done, or they're not invited, right?
They're not invited back.
If you're invited once, you're not invited back.
Right.
But you have to be a producer and a contributor. And that's just the thing in life that we're finding now, that the only way for America as a nation to succeed, for you as a business owner, for me as a business owner to succeed, is we have to be producers.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You need to come up with ideas, plans, and you need to have proven results to even gain entry into the room.
Yeah.
Right. So you get to give a speech. Which one of these did you choose to do your speech?
I did it on all.
You did it on all
three. So those were the last key point I spoke on was all three. You see a huge bond. And I feel like at the end of the day, that's what a mastermind group is. It's your bond. It's a new network of people. It's a group of people that if you've got a question, you know how to seek that person. You know, any particular question, that's the person you need to seek out for that.
Yeah.
You know, for whatever industry they're in, but also somebody to poke holes in something you're doing. You know.
Yeah.
It's one thing for you as an entrepreneur to have a focus group. But it's another thing to have other entrepreneurs. It's just another level. Like your average everyday person that doesn't understand what an entrepreneur goes through, they don't think that way,
right?
And so having that type of community is huge. And I mean, the bond I have with these guys, we've got guys from all over the state that come, so it's totally different industries, everything.
Sure.
And the bond that we end up having, it's like, it's unbelievable. So if one of us have, some sort of problem, we know to go within the group and say, hey, this is a problem. Does anybody know how to fix it? Or we, hey, this guy is, in the service industry. This guy's in the hospitality industry. I'm hosting an event.
Yeah.
What is the best way to do that? I'm going to be the best guy to talk to.
Absolutely.
So I honestly don't know why they allow me to come back. I feel like I'm by far the dumbest guy in the room. Every time these guys speak, and most of them are multiple authors, platform speakers. They're just incredible people. But for some odd reason, they invite me back and love what I have to say.
Well, that's the reason you're on the show today, and I have the same mindset most of the time. Those of you that don't know who he's talking about, Jody Holland has his own personal development coaching company. He is the author of multiple books. Hypnotic Selling is one of my favorite books.
Yeah.
The guy can walk up to you and read your face and like read your mail.
Yeah. He's a psychology major.
He is a psychology major. And he's actually been on, we had Jody on the show a little over a year ago, and we did a show that day with the three of us. and a great show, had great reviews. Jody's a very savvy guy.
Yeah.
Love that. And he has you in the room for a reason, because you have something to contribute.
Sure.
And everyone knows that. And you're so humble, you would never say that out loud. That's why you're saying that.
Sure.
So,
well,
you have something to contribute.
Yeah. Well,
100%.
it was really neat because by the first year that I went, you know, I was flying back. We were traveling together. I was flying back with Jody, and I said, dude, I don't know if I want to come back to this, man. I was like, I don't think I keep up with you guys. You guys are so smart. And I said, you know, every time you guys speak, I just feel like I shouldn't be in the room. He goes, that's why you fit here. We all think that way. And that's what brought me back. I don't know if you're saying that to be nice to me so that I would, you know.
Well, it's true. Jody is the lifter of people. He's there to build you up, but it's true.
But yeah, it's really neat. Every time I go back, you know, people always tell me some of the things they've incorporated throughout the year that they learned from me.
Yeah.
You know, we were doing this, and I'm so glad that you taught us this. You know, so people are using it. So I guess there's something.
Absolutely. One of the themes that I wanted to pull from that, because you actually went last year or year before, and when you came back from the event at that time, they'd recommended you read Tribe of Millionaires.
Well, so one of the guys was reading Tribe of Millionaires while we were there, and he was telling me a little bit about it, and and I thought, man, this book's really neat, and so I read it, and you know, after talking to the guys, you know, Jody was like, well, that's kind of what we want our guys to be, is Tribe of Millionaires, you know. It was so it's a fictional book, but it talks about leadership and the bond you need within your masterminds, and you know, that thing we're talking about, keeping people that keep yourself honest, you know, somebody that's going to hold you to accountable to the standard that you need to be held. You know, sure. Sometimes our goals are not our right goals, and it takes somebody like
you're absolutely right.
Well, for example, you know, in the book, there's a guy that's really fit, and you know, he runs all these marathons and all that stuff. Yeah. He's like, you know, his goal is to run 50 more marathons, and the guys are like, well, what is that going to do for you?
Yeah.
You know, let's look at some things that are not going well in your life, and let's make that a goal versus you're in fantastic shape.
Yeah.
You know, let's look at something else, and then
how else can we round out the other areas of your life that may be lacking?
Yeah, it's very cool. But it's an amazing book, and I know you've read it since. But we also, what we did last year, we read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Probably top book in mindset. Any one of you that hasn't read it, I highly recommend it.
Absolutely. And so we all read that, and then in part of our speech, we each kind of talked about, you know, what we thought about within the book. You know, we kind of took a different chapter that really hit us. And so that was really cool. That's a book, I think, if you haven't read it, read it a few times. I think it's one that you have to reread.
I think you should read it every year.
It makes more and more sense because there's a lot of chapters that just don't equate. But that also inspired me to read Masterminds by Napoleon Hill.
Yeah.
And you know, it goes back to what we're talking about here. It's kind of the book that you read after, I would say.
Yeah.
You know, Think and Grow Rich. But anybody that wants to be a leader or a business owner, entrepreneur, I mean, I think that's one of your top 5 books to read.
I definitely agree. There's some good ones.
My favorite book from Jody, going back to him, he wrote a book called Leadership. You know, and it's the evolution of leadership. It's a really quick read, but I mean, it's one of my favorites. It's one that I have every one of my managers read. If I get a new manager in, that's their staple book. I want you to
absolutely. That's the best. One of the best features about all of Jody's books. They're easy to read.
Yeah,
they're not. It's not like you're reading War and Peace or the Lord of the Rings trilogy. It's a thin book. It's a great, impactful book, and you can read it.
The funniest thing is I catch myself reading it in his voice. It's the weirdest
when
thing.
You know the author. I do the same thing. I find myself reading it the way they say it.
One of the first books, though, I read while we're in the topic of books, Bob Goshen was an early mentor of mine, and I mean, that guy's just done everything.
Right.
He helps market Coca-Cola. He speaks to the troops every year. Just a fantastic guy. But he wrote a book called The Power of Layered Leadership. And I think that's another one. If you're getting into a leadership role, anything Bob has to say is going to be fantastic. But
going to be great.
He's
sure.
a Zig Ziglar protege.
Yeah.
I mean, he's top of the line, dude. But
there are a lot of those guys. I used to listen to Zig Ziglar. on cassettes, telling my age. I just turned 60. Those of you don't know. And I listened to a lot of these guys on cassette and read a lot of their books and used to do a great Zig Ziglar impersonation when I was younger. You'd think it'd get better as I got older.
Yeah.
But I've gotten really dry on doing Zig Ziglar, but I love his stuff. All of the guys that trained, a lot of the leaders right now in the personal development space trained under Zig.
Sure.
And yeah, it's amazing stuff.
Yeah, he's incredible. But going back to a question that you asked though, is a mastermind for you?
Yeah.
It's for everybody, because I mean, when you go and you're in a room full of other people and you're listening to other people, I mean, it fuels you. It's like going to church,
Oh yeah.
You go to church to get remotivated, rejuvenated, whatever. And my wife will tell you, I'm going on this trip every year.
Yeah.
At first it was kind of like, oh, you're going to be away for 4 days, with these guys. What are you guys going to do?
Yeah.
And I get it too, because I didn't know at the
Yeah.
very, like, what are we going to do?
Mm-hmm.
But we just literally grind each other to the bitter end.
Yeah.
I mean, when I come home, I'm mentally exhausted.
Uh-huh.
And of course, she wants to talk. What happened? What'd you learn? All this stuff. And I have, tons of notes.
You still have to process it and unwind so you can unpack it even describe what happened.
I'm so exhausted, but I'll tell you, this is coming from multiple people, and you've even told me this. When I came back refreshed. I came back a better friend. I came back a better person. I came back a better leader. I came back a better brother. I came back a better husband. I came back a better son. And that to me is so worth it. I tell myself, I don't do this for me. I do it for everyone else.
Yeah.
I mean, I fuel myself because I want to come back a better leader for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to be a better husband for my wife. I want to do this type of things.
Well, let's just unpack that, because we talked about this before when we were talking about doing the show. The first time you went, and the first time I started traveling years ago to some of these events, I would drag my wife to some of them, and they were all rah-rah. They were all motivational events, and they were money-making events, and my wife got tired of that quickly. She's an introvert, was not down for that. But then some of the events, as I started going, that are more mastermind type events, she saw the change in me and how it grew me, and I was a better person when I came back, and Gina started to see that difference in you. And now with everything that's going on in the world today, we're seeing a resurgence in people turning back to their faith. Maybe they've been chasing money. And we talk about this on the show all the time. We're here to motivate you to success in every area of your life. And faith is an underlying current that is woven through all of this throughout. Would you say that masterminding maybe originally started as a way for you to hang around with smarter people, learn how to be a better businessman and leader, but that has impacted your faith, your belief system as well when it comes to you becoming a better person?
I mean, even within our group, not everybody particularly believes in God, but they believe in some sort of higher power. Right. And so, I mean, there's 2 guys that are just unbelievably spiritual. They go to Thailand and learn the spiritual way of life. They go out in the world and do all kinds of crazy things. Crazy to me, it's not crazy to them.
Right.
But every one of these guys, faith first, your higher being, whatever that is first.
Yeah.
Then your marriage, it goes
absolutely.
Every one of these guys will tell you that's first. Like, you're not going to go.
God family business.
Yeah,
it's got to be.
You've got to look at that.
Yeah.
And so, I've always been a Christian. I've always believed in God.
Mm-hmm.
I've always had a relationship with God. I mean, as you know, I don't go to church super often.
I talked about this in a previous show. There's a difference between being a follower of the Lord, believing, and being a religious person. Yeah. And religion itself, you can drink coffee religiously. Yes. I do. Yeah. It's okay. Yeah. But it's not my faith. Yeah. There's a big difference.
Right. So, I view my relationship with God a little differently than other people do.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
That's exactly.
I've been in the restaurant industry 25 years.
Oh yeah.
Man, I'm getting old. Sunday is a big day in the restaurant industry.
Oh yeah.
Wednesday's a big day. And so, even if I wanted to go to church, not saying I didn't, but I've just been groomed to not go because I've always been working.
Yep.
But guess what? What is church about? What is Christianity about?
Serving.
Guess what we do?
Community. That's what you do is serve the community.
Right. So as soon as you get out of church, we are serving.
Yeah.
We're doing God's work.
Amen.
That's how I look at it. But to answer your question, have I gotten closer to faith? Absolutely.
Yeah.
One really neat thing this past year was we had a new guy that is starting a marriage counseling ministry. And so he talked a lot about, couples and faith and things like that. And one thing that he brought up that I thought was just amazing is he said that couples that pray together are 90% better chance of staying together. And I thought, that's huge, right?
Well, you would take your immediate takeaway is, if I want to stay married, how can I help? And this is a very impactful way to help.
And my wife is Catholic. She's grown up Catholic. She's very religious. We're not the exact same in that thought, but we both pray. And we usually prayed, at night before we went to bed.
Sure.
She would pray, I would pray. And we've changed that. Since I got back, I told her I want to start praying together. It lit her up. Like,
you bet.
It lit her up. And so we every morning we pray for the day.
Yeah.
And then at night one of us
can pray.
Yeah, one of us. Yeah. It's usually me over her, but one of us prays in the morning together before we go to work, and then one of us prays, while we're in bed before we go to sleep.
Yeah.
And that's awful. Like,
it totally changed the dynamic of your relationship, which was already good.
Absolutely.
I would love you guys, but it just changed the dynamic.
Yeah. That doesn't mean I don't want to make it better.
Right.
He talked about, couples need to go on couples retreats.
Sure.
Couples need to date again. That's something I brought up. The reason we have the spot that we have is we want you to have an environment that you can go to, bring your wife that you haven't had a real conversation with in a long time.
Yeah.
Sit down, have dinner, and have a conversation without the kids interfering. Or you haven't had a good conversation with your kids, asking them questions. How was their day? What did they learn at school? We are in such a society.
We sure are. We sure are.
Or TVs everywhere. That's the dynamic of what we have here.
Yeah.
There's only a TV in the bar. If you want to watch TV, you're on your own, whatever you can.
Yep.
But our culture in this place is we want you to connect
around the table, at the table,
right?
Verbally, sight to sight, FaceTime. That's what I like to call it in the real estate world, in the business world. So many things happen online, but where the rubber meets the road is FaceTime.
Yeah.
How can I get in front of someone's face and to really connect? The best place to do that, I think, one of the best places is around the table. I'm doing some studying lately about diet, exercise, and the percentages, the studies that are out there that talk about people that have long lives, that stay away from technology, that eat natural foods and whole foods. And you can supplement, but supplements are made to be supplements, but you need to get your nourishment and your vitamins and your minerals from real food.
Yeah.
And the best place to do that, to develop your body, your mind, your soul, all of that in your relationships is around the table.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So it's a way more intimate setting, and you can do all of that. I think that the dinner table is a mastermind of the family.
Absolutely.
Your faith and your relationships are all built around the table.
Kitchen.
Yeah.
You think about it. Where Thanksgiving's happening tomorrow.
Thanksgiving's tomorrow.
Right? When everyone gathers, where are we all going to gather? Everyone's going to be hanging out
in the kitchen, watching you and me cook.
That's the heart.
And the women. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Actually, I'm not cooking.
I'm cooking tomorrow.
My father-in-law's doing most of it.
He's doing most of it.
My wife's doing a little bit of it. I don't have to do a whole lot at all. So
Joel's watching, said good morning. Hey, Joel.
Joel.
Good old Joel. A lot of guys watching. Pete's watching. A lot of people watching the show. Liking. We're getting the likes and the loves.
Pistol Pete.
Yeah, love that. He says it's the Cody and Patrick show today. I said, there you go.
It's always the Cody and Patrick show.
Always, pretty much every day.
Every day.
Pretty much.
I'm just kidding.
I hope this is helping you guys. You guys are getting something out of this. I know that you are. Masterminds, are they for you? I think that they are. Whenever I go to Vegas, I just recently came back from Vegas. We had EXP Con, which is our largest event for EXP Realty, the company that I'm associated with. And when you get there to Vegas, you start getting, your phone starts lighting up, and it's the masterminds. You're invited up to the penthouse suite. You're getting invited to the embassy suite, and a certain leader, multiple leaders are putting together a mastermind. And the best thing that can happen when you go to these places is your phone lights up. You get the private invite, and they're like, dude, mastermind, 30 minutes,
Right.
penthouse suite, you on your way? And you're like, bro, I'm there.
Yeah.
And you all start heading for the private elevator, and you get in the room. The best thing you can do is get the invite. You want to be in the room, and you come back. You may have one or two little videos or something you're able to record, but for the most part, you get your thinkers together and you mastermind what's working for you. It may not, something in your life may, and we problem solve. What are you having a problem with? And we get the other leaders in the room to problem solve with you, and you leave refreshed, encouraged, and you realize that you're not the only one. There are other people that are going through the same things you are.
Yep.
And we have answers on how to solve that.
Well, it's going back to Think and Grow Rich. That's exactly what 90% of the book is talking about. All Carnegie Hall, all these guys that are the big portions, the industrial leaders of our country, of multiple countries. No one did it on their own.
No.
I mean, I feel as men, we feel like we have to do it. We have to do it on our own. We put everything on our shoulders.
Everything on our shoulders.
But we can't.
You just can't.
We have to have verbal support.
Yeah.
We have to have physical support. We have to have everything. We can't be successful on our own. And I think that's the ideal, one, of a mastermind, two, of Think and Grow Rich, and three, it surely isn't Tribe of Millionaires.
Right.
None of these guys became millionaires on their own.
Nope.
They had to have
you have to do it together.
So, finding your tribe is huge. You talk about your circle of five all the time. But I mean, there's no more truth than exactly that. And being careful who that five is so important, because
your top five is your mastermind. That's your tribe, your mastermind group.
Well, you will start talking like the people in your top five.
Yeah.
Your language will be very similar. You'll start dressing like your top five.
Yeah, I need to get me a sweet pizza shirt just like that. That's sweet.
My wife got me this one, so I
love it.
I don't know where it was to get you one, but I bet I can find one for you.
It really comes down to mastering the mind. Mastermind really means mastering the mind. And the word says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he.
Yeah.
So everything that gets into our heart comes through the mind. All of the gates, the eye gates, the ear gates, everything that gets into us and makes up the character of who we are has to come through the mind. You can see things and feel things, but you process it through your mind. And we need to master this, because the most expensive piece of real estate in the world is the real estate between left ear and right ear. This is it right here, right? Yeah. We have got to master our mind, and we do that through our tribe, our top five, our inner sphere, if you will. And that's really what the mastermind is. It's us becoming better through community by associating with smarter people.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Or like-minded. It doesn't necessarily have to be smarter. Another mentor I had years ago, his name's Justin Prince. He does all kinds of, he's a platform speaker. It makes a lot of money. But he talked about the 33% rule. Spend 33% of your time with somebody that's a higher level than you. Yeah,
thinker.
33% of your same level, and 33 people that you want to grow.
Yep. So you do need to mentor.
Learning from somebody, 33% of your time of people that you're like-minded, and 33% of your time growing somebody else. Because teaching helps you grow.
It does, 100%.
I guess that's why they do let me get around. It's like, we need to teach somebody to help us grow. So
I have used this analogy before, but it's like a sponge. The sponge is best used. It absorbs, and then it does the work while it's moistened, and then you wring it out, and you do that repetitively. The sponge can only absorb so much, and it's full. Right. And at that point, it's useless, right? Sponge cannot not absorb anything else. But then you use that sponge for cleaning, wiping, polishing, whatever. But then if it stays in that condition, it gets stagnant. It smells, it's ugly, it's no longer, it's full of dirt, all of the cares of the world and the junk it's attracted. So you have to wring it out, refresh it, let it absorb fresh and anew, be used, and then wring it out again. Right. And that's kind of what we need to do as people. 33%, you need to be learning and absorbing. Right. Then you need to utilize all of that. And then you need to pour that out on those that you can help as well.
Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely.
Cody, it's been great, man.
Yeah, man.
That's why you're top 5, brother.
Thanks. You're top 3 for me.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that. I'm impressed. I had breakfast this morning with another great friend, a friend of mine, Jim, and we were talking about some life lessons, things that are going on in our lives, things that he's been feeling. He's older than me. He's like my older brother. I love Jim. Steeden, good man. And we got to sit there literally and mastermind and talk about some of the things that we're experiencing, how God is blessing our lives. Our eyes are being open to a lot of things that are going on.
Yeah.
And these are the kind of things that I just think that we have to be involved in. Captain Awesome says, rock and roll, my brothers. That's awesome. I love it. That's
we love
awesome.
us some Captain Awesome.
We sure do. Here. That's why we call him Captain Awesome. But these are the kind of relationships and conversations that we recommend you have. If you don't have these, find some friends, get invited to some things, be a good friend to those around you, be a good mentor to those around you, and just see if you don't start getting invited to some of these. If you don't have a mastermind group that you're invited to, start one. Get together with some guys and say, hey, I'd like to put together a group, ladies. I'd like to put together a group of like-minded thinkers, maybe some really smart, savvy people, and let's just get together and have a meal.
Yeah.
Let's sit around a table somewhere.
I got the
reserve a room. You got a spot right here at Fire Slice, and start a mastermind of your own, and just see if it doesn't change your life. I think that masterminds are for all people. If you're not a part of one, that you certainly should be.
Well, one of the guys brought up that if you read 3 books in any subject, you're a top 3% expert in the country.
In that country.
And I thought that was crazy. 3 books seems nothing to me.
I know, right?
So in thinking that way, I'm like, I'm going to read 3 books on so many subjects. I'm just, I'm not going to stop there, but I actually challenged myself. I'm going to challenge this to you.
Here we go.
I want you to take 3 subjects that you don't like. They're not your favorite subject. And I want you to read 3 books on each of those. Okay. I want you to be in the top 3% on subjects that you don't even really
something that's not even in my wheelhouse. Something I'm not even on my radar.
Subject you love. That's something I'm doing myself. I'm challenging you to do the same thing.
All right, I accept your challenge.
And let's get back together and let's teach each other about 3 subjects that we came up with that we're now we're experts on.
I love it. That's a great idea. You challenged me to grow. That's why we're friends. All right, guys. Until next time, this has been Patrick Lee and Cody Blair today with Midweek Motivation Live, saying get outside of your comfort zone. Courage begins at the end of your comfort zone. Get out there, make a new friend, start a new relationship, grow your mind through a mastermind. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.